Right then, as we leave the grounds of Chatsworth House and the wonderful vistas it gives us, we're going to make the way out up into the hills, and within a few short minutes you're in a total different landscape, which is the amazing thing around here. Now I'm going to hang a left here, and fingers crossed we'll be lucky and there won't be any traffic, because this narrow incline becomes quite a steep, narrow hill to climb with at least 2 hairpins. That's not a problem normally, but the hairpins have a really bad off camber on the inside of each of the bends, so you really need to be getting a little bit of a move on, otherwise you lose your balance. A lot of people who are inexperienced tend to, shall we say, climb up here quite slowly and stall, and all sorts goes on. This is what I didn't want. I really didn't want this tractor. Oh God. Let's hope he's not loaded so we can get a little bit of speed up the hill. I'm running out of gears now. I should be able to at least go up in second. Many years ago, and I'm talking 50 odd years ago perhaps, maybe more, one of my aunts actually went off the road here coming down the hill. Anyway, when I get to the top of this hill, I shall pull over and I'll have a little look round. Right, so if I can hold my hand out, the castle thing I'm looking at over there, just in the distance, on top of that pointy bit. You probably can't see it, but I've taken some photos. I'm sure it's excuse me, I'm sure it is Ryber Castle. It's the back of Matlock there. Anyway, here we go. So let's go and fly a kite, as they say. So yeah, this area is what we call locally as the tops. 1,000 years ago perhaps. I'm not very good with the history,
useful checkup really. The Romans had this area, these quarries that you see over here on the left and right, the little mounds that you see sometimes stuck in the field, that there used to be lots of iron ore and lead and lots of little smelting, what's the word, it's not society, little families used to have their own lead smelting and iron ore mining groups, I suppose. I can't think of the term, but yeah, all around here is known, or was known, for producing lead and things like that, because of the, I think it's limestone and things like that. It's all around here, and it just, I don't know what the geological terms are or the metallurgical terms are, but I do know that the Romans have been mining around here 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, whatever it was when they came over, and there is evidence of ancient pits, mines, what have you, all around here. I can't remember if I switched the camera on now. I think I did. Yeah, so they're all around here, so it's a very ancient landscape of industry. My mum and dad nearly bought this place on the right many years ago, before it was that well developed, and I think my dad sold the guy who now owns it. Some of his, he had some, I won't say ancient, but quite old, vintage. Yeah, vintage is probably the word. Farm implements, bits of old things that used to go on old tractors, not plough, but I can't remember the name of the mowers. Anyway, I think the chap that lives there, my dad sold him some, or gave him some stuff actually, he didn't want it. This house on the right, it's been recently been done up, but for years it's been known as the haunted house. Don't even know why. Don't know why, there's no evidence, but I'm 57 and I've always known it as the haunted house. Crazy, isn't it? There you go. Again, that wind's still gusting, but it's still very warm in the sunshine. This is a horrible junction that I'm going to go over here. The road bends to the right, almost at a, I'm not going to say a U-bend, but you can't really see around both sides. You can see one side and you can see a little bit, see the left bit's fine, but you can't see around there. Look, you've got a bit of a hill, although to be fair, it's been a long time since I came from this way. If you came from this view that way, it's really hard when you look to your left, because you can't see around to the left, and if you look to your right, the angle you are at, you're having to look down behind you, and you can't see that way either. But that, the way we've just come, isn't as bad as I remember, so not too bad. To the left, just over there, behind those trees, you can see a little bit of a chimney. That's one of the old, I think they call it, there, see it over there, that little stack chimney, I think that's what they call the pig of lead, which was what they used to call old bits of lead slag and bits of waste, but that's the old, I think that's one of the old chimneys from a few hundred years ago. Not far from where where my land is now, or my little allotment area type thing. There is an ancient Roman quarry, but you can't see it. You have to go through some fields and behind these little copse, but it's on the map and I have been assured that it is there. And the road that goes past my gate is an old Roman road. It's only wide enough for one car, but evidently that's the road they would use to take their carts backwards and forward. That farm down to the right over there, I believe, according to my youngest daughter's investigations and something my dad said years ago when he was alive, that farm used to belong to my great granddad. And when my daughter's been digging around in the old ancestry, a lot of places around this area are still around. That doesn't make sense, but the actual buildings are still up. Lots of gravel on the road here. Yeah, they're still up and going, and obviously been refurbished, rebuilt, and etc. over the years. But they used to belong to my family, relatives. Which is always interesting. I say always interesting. If you're interested in that sort of thing. If you're not, it doesn't matter, does it? So, just had a run out. Really nice. Absolutely so good. It's 7 o'clock in the evening, directly into the sunshine there. June the 11th, 12th, something like that. And a nice run round. Back is soaking. Just thought I'd have a quick run out. But I've been out for a while, so you can remember hear the wind blowing. It's a lovely day. It really is nice. Very gusty wind. So yeah, I just thought I'd have a quick catch up. Bike's running fine, touch wood. I've got a problem with the fuel gauge, sender unit and everything else to do with fuel tank probably, but if I keep an eye on it, I know it'll do 200 miles, and that's with quite, I don't say fast, but quite sustained high speed riding. It'll do 200 miles. So if I get to 200 miles I start looking to top up. Other than that, the old girl is doing really fine. Right, I think it's time to go home for tea.